this time. I honestly, we'll just go with the flow.
How good it is to be together. So good. We welcome you this Shabbat and Rosh Hashanah morning. Those of you who are here filling our sanctuary, those of you who are joining us from anywhere and everywhere via live stream. Thank you for being here. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom. So we are grateful, so grateful that you are all present with us. One takeaway from the past few years is that we don't take for granted that we can be here in person, and that each person's well-being is tantamount to the well-being of our whole community. With that in mind, we want you to know that should you need assistance for any reason throughout these high holy days, please make contact with any of our specially trained ushers or staff members. Ushers and staff members in the sanctuary, can you just raise a hand? Spread in the back and spread around. Many of them are in the back. They can answer any questions and, if need be, connect with our on-site medics or security team. Additionally, just look. We have those beautiful, I think they're new exit signs. Just notice where the exits are closest to you. Should we need them, our ushers and security team will help you. As a sacred community, as a family of families, mutual care and concern sits at the heart of our values. We thank you in advance for partnering with us. For partnering with us to ensure that NSCI remains a safe, caring, and values-driven conversation. We turn to page 19 in our prayer books to Baruch Hu, and if you're able to rise, please do. Regardless, let's have all of our voices sing out together in prayer. Let us continue together on the next page. Praised are you, Adonai, ruler of the universe. In your mercy you make light shine over the earth and all its inhabitants, and in your goodness you renew day by day the work of creation. How great are your works, O God! In wisdom you have made them all. The heavens declare your glory. The earth reveals your creative power. You form light and darkness, bring harmony into nature and peace to the human heart. Shine a new light over Zion. May we soon see its glow. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of light. Page 22.
Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher Anochi mitzamecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinata levanecha v'divarta V'shitecha v'leitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotavot b'neinecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha Leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai
Top of page 23. God, you brought our people out of Egypt. You gave us hope and freedom. As our ancestors yearned for freedom, so do we. What does it mean to be completely free? To break free from cruelty in our homes and schools. Let us reach out to welcome strangers. To break free from the slavery of selfishness, let us reach out with tzedakah. To break free from thoughtless behavior, let us reach out with honor and respect. Let us choose the path of mitzvot, the path of freedom, the path our ancestors traveled at the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedvar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot hoseh.
Bezrat Yisrael, ufedech inumecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael.
Page 24. We continue with Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Hasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umei Gula Lifnei Pneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava.
Chozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah.
Mechayei hakol ata, Rav lehoshia, Morid hata, Mechakel chaim v'chesed, Mechayei hakol b'rachamim rabim, Sorer noflim rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim matol yishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, melech l'meitu b'chayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Tal chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol.
Page 26. On Rosh Hashanah, we reflect. On Yom Kippur, we consider. Who shall live for the sake of others? Who shall leave a heritage of life? Who shall burn with the fires of greed? Who shall drown in the waters of despair? Whose hunger shall be for good? Who shall thirst for justice and right? Whose tongue shall cause pain and discord? Whose words shall make for peace? Who shall be plagued by fear of the world? Who shall strangle for lack of friends? Who shall rest at the end of the day? Who lies sleepless on a bed of pain? Who shall go forth in the quest for truth? Who shall be locked in a prison of self? Who shall be serene in every storm? Who shall be troubled by the passing breeze? Who shall be poor in the midst of possessions? Who shall be rich, content with their lot? Repentance, prayer, and charity return us to our God. Forgiven the past, renewed for tomorrow, may we go forth to a year of great goodness.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history and song.
We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong.
We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past.
We are carriers of wisdom, not the
Vador, Nagid God Lecha. Vador, Vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Vador, Vador, these lips will praise your name.
Looking back on the journey that we carry in our heart.
From the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. Vador, Vador, Nagid God Lecha. Vador, Vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Vador, Vador, these lips will praise your name. Vador, Vador, Nagid God Lecha. Vador, Vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Vador, Vador, these lips will praise your name.
All who keep Shabbat and proclaim its joy, celebrate your majesty. The people who sanctify the seventh day rejoice in your generosity. You chose and sanctified the seventh day, calling it the most beloved day, a remembrance of the creation. The top of page 27. Let's sing together.
Mechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Mekadesh Shevi Shabbat. Kulam yismechu v'yitaru b'turecha. Shabbat yismechu v'malechutecha. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. V'hashvir asita bo, v'kidashto, v'mdanya minato karata, zecher l'masei b'reishit. Yismechu v'malechutecha. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat.
Let's continue together at the bottom of that page, 27. Our God and God of ages past, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Sanctify us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation. In your gracious love, Adonai, let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. Your word is true and enduring forever. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies the Sabbath and Israel and the day of remembrance. Let's turn to page 29 and count up 6 lines from the bottom in Hebrew or transliteration, the third word in. 6 lines up, the third word in, and let's sing Selah with Selah, our prayer of gratitude.
Selah, 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 Selah. Bechol Chaim Yoducha Selah, 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 Selah. V'halelu et Shimcha be'emet, ha'el Yeshuateinu be'ezrateinu. Selah, Selah, Selah. Bechol Chaim Yoducha Selah, 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 Selah. Selah, Selah, Selah. Selah, Selah, Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha ulehanayim. Selah, Selah, Selah. 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 Selah, Selah, Selah.
We turn to page 30 and continue with our prayer for peace, our song for peace. Sim Shalom.
Sim Shalom, Tova, Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova, Uvracha. Aleinu, Le'al Kol Yisrael. Aleinu, Le'al Kol Yisrael. Alecha, Sim Shalom.
We pause for silent prayer and reflection. Page 31. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lifanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu V'al Olaleinu V'tapenu. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our children. Avinu Malkeinu, Kol Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'olenu. Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness, war, and famine. Avinu Malkeinu, Kol Tsar Umastin Me'olenu. Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to all oppression. Avinu Malkeinu, Kodvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of life and righteousness. Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us a good year.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu V'aneinu, Ki'evanu Masi, Aseh
now into our Torah service, the centermost piece, certainly of any Shabbat morning service, certainly of this first day of the new year. As we move into our Torah service in just a moment, the Torahs will be brought out into the congregation in a hakafah. Everyone, we will do our best to make sure you have a chance to access the Torah. A hint is if you're in the middle of an aisle, if you pass your book down one way or the other, we can get it there. So everyone will get their chance, don't worry. Machonics, as the Torahs make their way back up to the bima, you're invited to join them for our group Aliyah. We are on page 32. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Afesha v'Chata'a v'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, God is merciful and gracious, endlessly patient, loving and true, showing mercy to thousands, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin, and granting pardon.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Adonai
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'nora Shemo. Lecha Adonai Gadol Ge'ura V'Tiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hamod K'chol B'Shamayim U'V'Aretz K'chol B'Shamayim U'V'Aretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacho V'Ani Na'aseh Lecho
Yes, we should all go. But just not yet. Yes.
your seats. We move forward into our Torah reading. You can follow along on pages 33 and 34 of your prayer book. If you would like to follow along with the reading, our Torah readers today are Tessa Covey and Eli Levin, reading from verses 6 through 13. If you're following along in the English on page 34, that's beginning in the second paragraph. This story, the binding of Isaac, as it is known, is the Torah portion we in our community read on this first day of Rosh Hashanah. This famous story of God telling Abraham to take his son, his most precious one, up to the mountain Abraham believes to be sacrificed, only to be stopped at the last minute by an angel who says, "Don't lay a hand on that child. This is not what I want." It is a Torah portion with many messages, many mysterious and many not. Ultimately, it is a Torah portion that invites us to think about what in our life are we willing to sacrifice and where are our boundaries? Where do we stop and set a limit for ourselves? Something very important to think about as we enter into this new year. As this is a Vador intergenerational service, it is certainly appropriate that everyone takes a look up here. Wave to our machonics. Machonics, wave back at our congregational family. If you are here at North Shore Congregation Israel, this sight should make you kfel. These are our students who at the age of B'nai Mitzvah or older come and dedicate their time on a weekly basis to help with the education of our young people. They are testimony to the fact that Judaism does not end at B'nai Mitzvah, it's just beginning. And if you want to know who the regulars are at North Shore Congregation Israel, well, this is who they are. So kvel all you want. When you see them, give them a yasher koach and a mazel tov. If you are a young person looking up here, I hope you're thinking to yourself, gosh, maybe one day I'll get to be a machonik too. And the answer is yes. And if you are a person who is older than B'nai Mitzvah, but I have to say still in high school, not yet graduated, and you would like to be a machonik, it's never too late. Come talk to me, Dr. Goodman, Andrea Delinka, any of our clergy or youth staff, and we can make that happen for you. There is always a space for you here in our congregational family. So, with no further ado, we'll begin with the blessings before Torah, page 33. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach, Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Vayasem al Yitzchak b'no, v'yikach b'yado et ha'esh ve'et ha'ma'achelet, v'alchu shnehem yachdav. Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham avi, vayomer avi, vayomer hineni veni, vayomer hinei ha'esh ve'hayetzim ve'ayeh haseh leolam. Vayomer Avraham Elohim Yivrei lo haseh leolam b'ni, v'alchu shnehem yachdav. Vayavo'u el hamakom asher amar lo Elohim, Vayivan Sham Avraham et HaMizbeach, Vayaroch et Haitim, Vayakod et Yitzchak beno, Vayasem oto al HaMizbeach, Mima'al Laitzim.
Vayishlach Avraham Vayikach Vayishlach Avraham et Yado Vayikach et Hama'ahelet Lishhot et Beno Vayikrai Lav Malach Adonai min Hashmayim Vayomer Avraham Vayomer Hineni Vayomer Alet tishlach Yadacha El Chana'a Ve'al ta'atzlo me'uma Ki ata yadati Kirei Elohim ata Ve'lo chasachta Et binha et yihidecha mimeni Vayisa Avraham et einav Vayar v'hine ayil achar Ne'echaz basvach bekarnav Vayelech Avraham Vayikach et ha'ayil V'ya'alehu le'olam Tachat beno
Amen. Yasher Koach to our Machonics, Yasher Koach to Eli and to Tessa. Have you come every year since B'nai Mitzvah to do this? So in our Torah portion, God says to Avraham, "Where are you?" And Avraham responds, "Hineni, I am here." He could have not responded. He could have been like, somebody else answer that. But he didn't. He said, "Here I am." Ultimately, what that means is when you're called, how do you respond? Do you choose to really be there? And what you see, friends, up here is an entire collective of a generation that responds, "Here we are." Hineni. Our Torah readers today have shown up to our congregation amidst the chaos of middle school and now high school, choosing to say, "Here I am," when Cantor Goldstein calls them and asks them, "Hey, will you chant Torah in front of 1,000 people at the high holidays?" And Tessa and Eli say, "Yes, here I am." These Machonics, all of them, regularly, many on Sunday mornings, very early, when they could be sleeping in like all of their friends, wake up and choose to say, "Here I am." And we are ever grateful to each of you and all of you together. Yasher Koach, everyone. Thank you so, so much. You can sit down. As our Machonics make their way down into the congregation, as our Torah readers make their way down, we thank you, their families, for sharing them with us, letting them take some of their precious time in their very busy lives to be a part of this congregational family. We are grateful to you. As our Torah is out and as is Jewish tradition, we take a moment to turn our thoughts and our prayers toward healing in what tradition understands as the holiest time in our service, where our stories and our history are open to us all. We're invited to draw our thoughts and our prayers and our energies and direct them toward healing, healing of body, healing of mind, healing of spirit for those in need of it, and wholeness for those in need of it, and truly for all of us. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, Adonai. You bring healing, we pray. You bring wholeness to us all. Page 35, would you please rise?
Zota Torah she'tzam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Zota Torah she'tzam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
We'll invite you to close your machzarim for a few moments. As you likely know, in our Vador services, we do not speak or deliver a sermon. Instead, we tell a story from Jewish tradition. A story for children, a story for grown-ups and everyone in between. A story that offers a message that on the surface invites us to dig deeper. So as you hear this story, I'll invite you to think, how might we relate to this in our lives? And we'll come back together at the end. There once was a tailor who made the most beautiful clothing. Even the prince himself ordered his royal robes and uniforms from this tailor. The prince enjoyed the tailor's work so much that he would sit in the tailor's shop and just watch with fascination as the tailor worked. Soon, the two became friends, even though one was a simple and humble tailor and the other a great and powerful prince. When the tailor's son was born, the prince sent a gift with a note attached that said the following: "To my dear friend, in this box you will find the finest cloth in all the land. Put it away for now, and when your son has grown into adulthood, sew a cloak for him and present it to him as a gift from his father's loyal friend, the prince." The tailor was so moved by this gift. He put the box in a safe place, but as people often do, they put something away, and soon he forgot about it. And years passed. One afternoon, though, an imposing messenger arrived at the tailor's shop and presented an invitation for the tailor, his wife, and his son, now grown, to attend a 2-day royal ball in honor of the prince's birthday. At the bottom of the invitation, the prince had handwritten a note. "My dear friend, please share my joy with me on this occasion. Your loyal friend, the prince." "A royal ball," exclaimed the tailor. He was so excited, he lifted his wife to her feet, waltzed her around the shop. "We're going to the ball with an invitation from my friend, the prince." Nothing like this had ever happened to either of them before. Now, the tailor's wife was a little more realistic. "My dear, royal balls are for lords and ladies. We are common folk. We have no place there." "What difference does it make?" said the tailor. "The prince is my friend. We will go." And so on the first night of the ball, the tailor, his wife, and their son made their way to the palace. As they approached the door, the nobles looked down at them and scorned. "Commoners." While his wife blushed in humiliation, the tailor strode proudly to the butler and presented the invitation he had personally received. "I am a special friend of the prince." "Indeed," sarcastically eyed the tailor's butler at the door, the commoner, caller. "And where did you get this invitation?" the guard said. "What do you mean? I received it from the prince himself." "Indeed, sure. I don't know how you came by this invitation, sir, but you do not belong here. Just look at you. Anyone can see you have no place here. Now, please, sir, move away to allow our real guests to enter." "What do you mean? I received this invitation from the prince himself, my friend." "Guards, escort this commoner away." At which point, 2 huge guards grabbed the tailor and carried him out to the road. His wife and son ran behind him, sobbing. "Did you see the way they looked at us?" said his wife. The tailor's son was bewildered. "Father, why did they treat us that way? Why were they so cruel? After all, you are the prince's friend." The tailor was shaken, and then suddenly he remembered, and a vision flashed before his eyes. The cloth! Of course, the prince's cloth, the gift we received when you were born. "I will sew it tonight, all night if need be. I'll make you the most beautiful cloak. Tomorrow you will attend the ball in my place and wish my good friend the prince the happiest of birthdays. Don't worry, go to bed. Tomorrow you'll have your cloak." And by morning, the cloak was complete. It was a masterpiece. When the young man tried it on, he glowed with pride. But the boy was nervous, too. When he thought of the ball, of the butler, of the guards, the nobles, his pride wilted. But nevertheless, when evening came, he donned his cloak and set off to the ball. When the tailor's son came to the door before the butler, he handed over his invitation just as his father had done the night before. The young man braced for another onslaught of scorn and rejection, but instead, the butler looked him up and down, looked at the invitation, and announced, "The prince's loyal friend? Indeed. Welcome to the ball, young man. Please enter and greet the prince." The young man's heart leapt. He'd never seen something so wonderful in all his life. And people noticed him too, smiling as they admired the handsome young gentleman in the marvelous cloak. As he was seated at his table, he began to feel differently, and a deep sadness crept in. If only my father could see this. And then his sadness turned to anger. as he remembered why his father wasn't there. And his anger soon turned to fury. When there was a lull in the music, the tailor's son stood up. He took off his cloak and in a booming voice held it in front of him and asked, "O cloak, would you care to dance with me?" The revelers stopped and stared as the young man held out his cloak as if it were his partner, one sleeve outstretched, and waltzed with his cloak all around the dance floor. "O cloak, you dance so divinely," he shouted. "Cloak, would you care for some refreshment?" And he took out a bottle of wine and poured it down the cloak's neck. "Cloak, you must be hungry." He lifted a turkey leg and stuffed it into the cloak's arm. The crowd froze. This was no longer a joke. The young man and his behavior was a disgrace, a mockery of the prince, everyone thought. "Oh, cloak, we have not wished our host a happy birthday." And so the man approached the prince and said, "Your Highness, Cloak and I would like to wish you a very happy birthday." The prince stood and stared angrily at this man. "Who are you, and why have you come to mock me and my guests?" "Well, you see, sir, you invited my father to celebrate your birthday at the royal ball. You sent him a special invitation. You called yourself his loyal friend. That invitation meant more to him than anything. He showed it to everyone. He hung it in his shop window. He counted the days toward this ball. And last night, we came here, my mother, my father, and I, to celebrate with you. But your butler threw us out. My father didn't look like the rest of your guests, so your butler threw him out of your house as if he were not even human. My father was humiliated, but he wanted to somehow send his birthday messages to you. So he sent me back, dressed in this cloak made from the cloth you sent on the day I was born. I returned tonight because my father wouldn't hear otherwise, and something strange happened. I was allowed to enter your palace. Last night I was thrown out, but tonight I was offered food and wine. I am the same person. The only difference is this cloak. It's not me you have invited. It is the cloak. It is not my father, your friend you want here to dance and celebrate with you. It is this cloak. It's the cloak you have invited, the cloak's company you enjoy, the cloak's dancing and dining you wish to have sight of. So here, take it. And he threw the cloak into the arms of the prince. The prince was stunned. Then he remembered, "Oh my, the tailor, where is my friend the tailor? That must be," and his shock turned to rage. "Send me the butler at once." When the butler came before him, he said, "Last night my friend the tailor came with his wife and son, and you threw them out. But your Highness, he was a commoner. Go now, take my coach and bring the tailor and his wife here at once. I don't care what they're wearing. Bring them here so I can apologize." Soon enough, the bewildered tailor and his wife were shown into the ballroom, dressed in their pajamas. The prince rose from his throne, and he bowed before them. "My friends, please forgive me. Consider all our years of friendship and my loyalty to you, and please forgive me. We treated you wrongly. I am sorry. Please stay and celebrate with us." The tailor was overwhelmed. The sudden appearance of the coach, the magnificent ballroom, the prince bowing at his feet. Why, of course, I forgive you. And happy birthday, my friend. And where is that boy of yours, said the prince. I'd like to meet him now properly. The young man stepped out from behind a pillar. Your Highness, I apologize. I should have never. No, you are brave. I admire your character and your loyalty. I could use a person like you in my service. Let's speak after the celebration. But now, let's celebrate as friends. The music began, everyone danced, they ate and drank, and the ball came back to life. And for the rest of their lives, the tailor and the prince remained loyal friends. And the tailor's son entered the service of the prince and eventually became his most trusted advisor. Everyone in the kingdom recognized him as the wisest person ever to wear the uniform of the prince. It takes some special insight to realize that our value and the value of everyone around us lies not in their clothing or what we see on the outside, but who they are on the inside, the qualities of their character. This Rosh Hashanah and High Holy Days, we call upon ourselves to remember this lesson. No matter what the messages out there in the world say, what matters most is who we are on the inside. The outside world may impact our outside lives, but for each of us, we can choose to focus on the souls and spirits that we see around us and to leave our hearts open for everyone, not to judge, but to include, and to be stronger and be able to celebrate more fully together. Shana Tova U'Mituka, a sweet, good new year for us all. You can reopen your Machzarim to page 37. As it is Rosh Hashanah, we arrive at the sounding of the Shofar. The reminder to all of us to be the best we can be. We invite you to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar Tekiah Shvarim Torah Tekiah Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah Tekiah Teruah Tekiah.
Let's continue responsively at the bottom of the page. God of all ages, we remember Abraham, Isaac walking together toward their mountain, and Jacob dreaming of a ladder to link heaven and earth. We remember Moses turning aside to look at the bush burning with a divine flame. We remember the prophets whose vision will not grow dim. We remember the sages for whom goodness was daily bread. As we remember, we affirm the heritage that gives our life its worth. Our God and God of all generations, remember us with favor and grant us your compassionate deliverance. Remember your love for us, the covenant you made with Abraham on Mount Moriah. Remember his boundless love for you, his willingness to offer you all that was his. Show us your compassion then, and in your goodness look with favor upon your people and your loved ones. For you are the one who remembers all that has been forgotten. There is no forgetfulness in your presence. Blessed is the Lord who remembers the covenant.
Chikia. Shavarim. Terua. Chikia. Chikia. Shavarim. Chikia. Chikia. Terua. Chikia.
The middle of page 39, the great trumpet will sound and summon us to serve under your banner of truth, of purity, and of peace. On that day, the great shofar shall be sounded. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol teruat amo Yisrael barachamim. Blessed are you, the merciful God, who hearkens to the sound of the shofar.
Tekiah. Shavarim. Terua. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shavarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Terua. Tekiah gedolah.
Yashakoach. Yeah, that's right. He was a machonik too. I don't know what the popping is, but it's deserved for Sam Solinger. Interestingly, the commandment on Rosh Hashanah is not actually that the shofar. Sorry, don't. What?
It's come to turn the lectern.
The commandment. I don't know what you need. Can you hear me now? The commandment on Rosh Hashanah, here you go, is not that the shofar be blown, but actually that we hear the shofar. But in order to make that happen, you need someone to blow it. So it is not actually a mitzvah to blow the shofar. It's a mitzvah to hear the shofar, which lets us ask the question, what does it mean of a person who gains nothing for themselves by blowing? No mitzvah points for blowing the shofar. mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 42. As this is Shabbat, we take time in our community to remember those who are mourning, whose loved ones have died in the last month, and those whose yahrzeits occur at this time in seasons past. First, we remember those who've died in the last 30 days: Isabel Cohen, Robert Gelfand, Charlotte Kravitz, Ivan Cushion, Joan Loeb, Barry Menaker, Marnie Rabin, Norman Rosen, Larissa Laura Zizhin. We also remember those whose yahrzeits fall this week: Norman Alperin, Florence Bregstone, Evelyn Berg, Lester Carmel, Elaine Amsterdam Cohen, Dr. Marvin Cooper, Hyman Davis, Susan Jane D., Linda Eubanks Drescher, Shirley B. Freilich, Carol Lee Melman Friedman, Etta Friedman, Herbert Friedman, Sander A. Friedman, David Gans, Fanny Gans, Florence Goodman, Reuben R. Graff, Betty Hara, Raphael Hoffman, Max A. Carmen, Charles Klein, Charles N. Kubert, Richard Lewis, Paula Vogel Mayer, Thomas Roberts McMillan, Martin Meyer, Jules Michel, Dr. Norman J. Pressman, Sylvia Wilner Roston, Walter D. Roston, Dr. Arnold Reese Rotman, Beatrice Rebecca Saltzman, Ethel Appleman, Samuels, Dorothy Shanfield, James Buddy Schreiber, Dorothy Shapiro, Raymond Scher, Sarah Scher, Harold Siegel, Linda Ungerleiter, Susan Uri, Randy Walters, Howard Frank Walton, George Wolfe, and Gigi Zorn. May all of their memories, along with all of the memories of our own loved ones, be blessings. We invite you to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, again, page 42. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayechon v'yomechon Chaye dechal Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei dekutsha brechu. La'ela ul'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. May the source of peace in the heavens bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. We say together, amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to bring forward the president of our congregation, Jeff Echt.
Shana Tova. We, North Shore Congregation Israel, have just completed a very successful campaign and are nearly done with a multifaceted construction project. While I have the privilege to stand before our community to describe the many accomplishments and health of our 100-plus year congregation, I'm reminded of a lesson I learned while watching Seinfeld. You may remember the big salad scene. George's girlfriend brings the salad that he bought for Elaine, and she implicitly takes credit for it, and he gets upset. I'm not here to take credit for others' works. I will explicitly avoid taking credit for the success of our fellow congregants, for they have delivered for all of us. In case you're not aware of the list of accomplishments, give me a moment. We renovated Frank Hall. We have a newly configured and much more efficient workspace for our staff and clergy. We've relocated the WNSCI gift shop. We've updated our restrooms. We have a most beautiful upgrade to Rebecca K. Crown Hall. And over the next few months, you'll see a transformation of our southeast quadrant just outside, which will include newly imagined gardens and patios that will optimize the full beauty of our campus, both indoors and out. In addition to the physical improvements, the Imagine the Possible campaign continues to add valuable funds to our building reserve and our endowment. Further and significantly, we'll enjoy these physical improvements without the burden of paying interest on a loan, for we have no debt. Your generosity and our collective time, effort, and expertise made all of this happen. As I've done in the past, I'd like to connect a story from the Torah, a lesson imparted at my favorite book club, one that meets regularly on Saturday mornings at small synagogues and large synagogues all around the world, a lesson that has manifested itself inside our congregation. Let me set the context briefly. It is chapter 18 of Exodus, and our forefathers have just escaped the grips of Pharaoh. Moses is sort of forming himself as a leader. He's got a problem. Everyone lines up, and he solves all the grievances in the community, and it takes a long time. Jethro comes around. Jethro is his father-in-law, a Midianite priest, and he's kind of experienced at this leadership stuff. And he says, Moses, it's not going to work. You cannot do it alone. More importantly, there's lots of people in your community that are very talented. They're skilled, they're impassioned, and you can trust them. If you give them the opportunity to do stuff in this community will prosper. Does that sound familiar? I think it does. It sounds like our community, right here at NSCI, an empowered community, a large organization with an inclusive attitude, one that encourages empowerment and enables talented, impassioned, and diverse congregants, staff, and clergy to execute and, yes, delegate in order to effectively create and execute ideas and plans in pursuit of collective goals. With this notion in mind, let me express my gratitude to the leaders within our organization that have done just that. They've created and executed a plan, they raised capital, and did more than imagine the possible. They made it a reality to physically improve our campus in a financially responsible manner. Those leaders and committees and groups of congregants include Marilyn Perlman, chair of our Imagine the Possible campaign, and her partner in this most successful endeavor, Jody Weinberg. All of our fellow congregants that invested hours and hours in the Architecture Committee and the Design and Construction Committee, led by Dean Weinberg. Our success would not have been possible without the vision, direction, and leadership displayed by Rabbi Geffen and our Executive Director, Todd Brayman. The entire Campaign Executive Committee, the Trustee Communication Committee, led by Eileen Sharkey Rosenfeld, the Heritage Circle, led by Susan Longo and Rachel Stein, the hosts and facilitators of numerous parlor meetings that allowed for safe and more intimate gathering to discuss the campaign, including the pandemic years. Our Landscape Committee, led by Ani Shire. And a special thanks goes to Cheryl Solomon, NSCI's first Director of Development. Cheryl was incredibly instrumental at the beginning stages of our campaign. NSCI would not be in its current favorable position without the commitment of so many. So now, if I mentioned your name, or if you sat on any one of those committees, or had anything to do with the campaign or the construction, if you could please raise your hand or stand so we could all acknowledge our collective efforts. Well, a lot of you really helped out, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We are a strong congregation. We are financially strong. We are administratively strong. We are programmatically and spiritually strong. I have one additional thought for this morning. As I look around this room, I notice many, many things. However, there's one thing that dominates this room, an integral element of the design that this world-class architect was aware of and had in mind, but he did not include this element on the drawings. And our contractor, he did not include it in his budget. That element is light, natural light. I wish it was more sunny today. It would have been a little bit more effective, but I'm doing my best. Anyhow, in addition to natural light, I see another source of light. The source our fellow congregants provide, contribute incredible light to this room, our congregation, and our greater community. Each person impacts both the quantity and perhaps more importantly, the quality of light with each diverse perspective and each story. The diversity has benefits. Seeing and hearing so many points of view has a compounding effect, enabling the quality of light to increase exponentially. The abundant quality of light impacts the light's quality in another valuable way. It leads to a more durable source of light. The increased number of active congregants, students, participants, and benefactors at NSCI provide layers and layers of perspective, expertise, protection, along with abundant opportunity and possibility for years, decades, and yes, another century. Which brings me to a final thought. In my mind, a uniquely beautiful combination of natural light and human light occurs right here in the final hours of Yom Kippur at Ne'ilah. Even as the sun sets in the west, the beautiful sun comes right through our windows. And then we all collect up here on the bima as the sun sets. So I hope to see you here at the end of Yom Kippur, at the beginning of a wonderful and prosperous new year for North Shore Congregation Israel. L'Shana Tova.
We hope to see you here at Ne'ilah, and we hope to see you at any other number of opportunities between now and Ne'ilah. You can check your program booklet and also our website for all of the different services and different programs and opportunities in which you can participate to really deepen your experience these highest of our holy days. Our incredible and immense gratitude to the countless many who make all of our services possible, this service in particular. To our quartet, they are no longer sitting there, but they were there. You heard them in the silent prayer, and I just want to give one shout out in particular, all four of them, incredible individuals. One of them, Avery, became a bar mitzvah last weekend, and he didn't take a Shabbat off. He was right back at it, so we are grateful to him and to his family, but of course to the Oppenheims and Gasworth families for giving us their children and allowing their talents to shine. Of course, to Sela, thank you. Your voices, your musical talents are a priceless gift for this community and for all of us. We are so grateful to you, you who also are here every week, in and out. Many of you have two jobs, you machonik and you're in Sela, so you don't get any time off on a Sunday, and we are just always amazed at your talents. Thank you for being here and making this possible. To our ushers and greeters, to our security staff, to our maintenance and admin teams, thank you all for making this possible. Friends, we invite you as you leave to take your machzorim with you and return them to the ushers and greeters that you'll see as you make your way out. We have one concluding song. Please join with us.
Yaseh Shana Tova.